All right, happy Friday, everybody. It's September 17th, 8:30 a.m. my time. We got prices of Bitcoin currently at 47,400, still sitting above the September monthly open. Our 5K count challenge is currently at 29K. We dropped close to about $1,000 or $1,100 in the negative since yesterday, due to the fact that our positions are down quite a bit. You could kind of see Algo dropped a decent amount. You could see FTT dropped a decent amount. We took FTT, ETH, and BTC 2 days ago, I think. So I was expecting ETH to be somewhat in the positive, which it is, but I expected BTC to be much more in the positive, which it's not. So that's kind of surprising to me, but I'm going to dig into what I think is happening in the market right now. And this is something that I also covered yesterday, about 15 hours ago, which is Bitcoin itself is dragging the market down. And this all has to do with the play that I spoke about earlier, which is dominance. Dominance basing and starting to turn around and tick back up, while at the same time, BTC consolidates or even starts to break back up, is a recipe for disaster for altcoins. It is very clear that Bitcoin takes a lot more money to move up in the market due to its mega market cap. So that means that typically when rotations are happening from funds, from whales, it takes a lot of sell pressure on other altcoins and a lot of profit taking on other altcoins, which allows for that profit to be rotated into BTC. And this is the perfect area because now Bitcoin is giving you several hours, pretty much half a day around this area to get into the Bitcoin price action that's about to ensue. And I believe that this is pretty clear bear flag, bear pennant, however you want to look at it, because it's sitting right above the September monthly open. Now, as I've said, my thesis for this being bullish is invalidated once Bitcoin starts breaking back inside this level and rejecting it right there. I don't think that'll happen. I'm fairly confident that won't happen. And this is one of the reasons why I have my BTC long position on. So in this particular instance, I believe two things are similar in this trade. BTC and ETH, I think these two pairs are going to move together. Algo and FTT are somewhat movers with BTC if, say, Bitcoin takes off higher. I would figure Algo and FTT are going to move up, but maybe not at a same percentage or a higher percentage than ETH and FTT or ETH and BTC. I was thinking that Algo and FTT would continue their bullish movements in the market. So here's FTT, right? I was really kind of hoping that this level right here. Okay, so let's go to the $70 level, right? See, I was hoping when I took this trade right here. And it was based on the simple fact that this is a key SR level. Okay, so that's resistance. Okay, here, chop, deviation, reclaims, resistance, right? Support, and then nukes. Okay, nukes and consolidates inside this $70 level right here, reclaims once again, but then fails. Okay, so this is really the point at which I start becoming concerned about this whole thing being sort of a larger form of mini distribution, and we might actually head down further. But I also look at it as, okay, well, we had a very nice consolidation here for almost a month here, and then we had a big breakout, consolidate, another nice breakout. I'm thinking that as long as these higher lows like this get respected, I think we should be okay on FTT. And it's one of the reasons why I haven't cut my FTT trade. Now, Algo, I think that one is kind of similar because Algo had a pretty nice breakout above this key SR, right? This was the resistance level from February, April. You can call this resistance too, around $1.75, right? But again, you could see consolidation right above key SR. So there's really not a whole lot that forced me to close my trade. It's in the negative, okay, but that doesn't mean that it's a trade that should be closed, right? It could be temporarily negative, you know? So here's kind of what I'm looking at. If algo decides to come back and puke the price back inside this range, then I'm cutting this trade, okay? And I told y'all on the advantage side, I've already stated my stops for all these trades. Every single one of these trades that I have open, BTC, Algo, ETH, and FTT, I have put in my stops, okay? 46,750 is my stop for BTC. And the reason I made 46,750 is, well, guess what? That's right around this level. There's really no reason for BTC to come all the way down here, right? Because that's pretty deep inside the September monthly open. Maybe it flash wicks and then quickly recovers and then leaves, me stopped out and takes off. Maybe, but that's okay. That's a chance that you take with protection by putting on stops. You can always get stopped out, but it's a matter of recognizing how deep is your stop. And I believe my stop being down here is relatively deep, past the September monthly open. So the September monthly open is right here. My stop is close to about 1.1% deeper. And that's not bad, So anyway, that's my logic on my stop for BTC. The other stops you can check out on the 5K account channel right here. Okay. All right. The other two assets that I really wanted to talk about, and the one of which is just gotten listed on FTX is DYDX, right? This is a similar asset to PERP protocol. Remember, I told y'all that in the DEX space, in the derivative DEX space, I believe that DYDX and probably PERP protocol are going to be the key winners over the next, several months. Now, what's interesting about PERP is kind of printing a head and shoulders pattern, right? So not really the best look. The fact that DYDX is just getting listed, I don't know, that could be a good thing, right? So in this area, I actually have a inclination to want to take a long position, not of big size, okay? But I want to take a chance on this because I want to show you guys something interesting. Look at this sea of red. Everything is red today, except our friend DYDX. There's always a reason why one asset is green versus everything else is red. And it is simply because this particular asset is deemed far more valuable at current prices, and the market will not let it fall. The big participants will not let it fall. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small trade in this. All right. 7,500. Okay. And I'm going to place my stop just below this low, 14.5. Okay. 14.5. All right. If I get stopped, oh, sorry, not 14.5. I'm sorry. 15.5. It's like just below. Yeah, this low. That I think that's fine, having it below that low. So what is that? So if I get stopped, it's about a $900 loss. But to the upside, this is a new asset, right? I don't even know where the valuations could take it. Could take it to only 18 or 20. It could take it to like 30 or 40. I have no idea, right? But I want to take a chance on this because I want to bet on this. In a sea of red, why is DYDX green, right? So in my opinion, again, not financial advice, not telling you guys to buy, but I personally find that a unique position to be in, and that's where I'd probably want to be long, okay? The other asset that's doing well, guess what? Olympus, okay? Olympus DAO is an asset that we wrote about, you can see, months ago. And I told y'all why I'm bullish on the DAO space, why I'm specifically bullish on Olympus DAO. So we wrote this for Advantage members, and we released it to the public a month later. Hopefully you guys have read this article. You can go to the Alpha Trades Medium. There's many articles that we've done in-depth research about and given this free alpha to you guys, because we truly believe that if you actually do good fundamental research and you find good projects out there, they're probably the ones that you want to be betting on. Okay. So anyway, keep an eye on Olympus, because guess what? It's also up on the day in a sea of red, where BTC is red, where pretty much every single altcoin is red, right? This is kind of the stuff that you want to keep an eye on. Why is it green today? And if so, is there some trade to be taken? Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to point those two out. I'm sure there's other altcoins that are green. I'm not gonna go to that extent, but the ones that are in my purview and under my control that I know and I've read about and I've written about, I'm gonna take a stab at it. Okay, cool. I'm not seeing anything else other than the stuff that I've spoken about. So ignoring DYDX, right? So let's close out DYDX here. Here's kind of how everything else is doing. Pretty much red on the day, right? Like there's nothing special going on over the last, I don't know, several hours or so. BTC sits in the middle of the pack. That's what I find interesting. So typically what I like to pay attention to in situations like this is, what are some good altcoins above BTC that are starting to tick back up? And the best one that I like is probably CRV and FTT. I like Cake too, but not really a whole lot. But I know I've done research in CRV. I know I've done research in STEP and FTT. Okay, so definitely keep your eye on those altcoins as they start to tick back up, because there could be some great trades. Okay. L1 ecosystem obviously getting whacked, right? Solana, I already told y'all multiple times. I believe that Solana was extended. I'm glad we're actually finally seeing this very, very sharp sort of significant correction, because, from the highs, this is now, down 35%. That's a pretty good sharp, correction, retracement, whatever you want to call it. I would kind of figure that it's going to go back into these lows, maybe even sweep this low of 124. If this has a significant amount of liquidity below it, it should really just pop back up really fast, really hard. Okay, so look out for this key low to be tagged. Are there any questions in the chat so far? Anything else you guys want me to pay attention to? I've mentioned Rune. I told y'all a while back, I really think that a lot of people are sleeping on Rune. We've done research on Rune. I've told y'all about Rune several times. Back here is when the hacks happen. And I told you that even when the hacks happened, the community kept going. They kept piling on money and rewarding people for sticking with the community. But they also did a great job at giving back money to the people who were impacted. This is what all you want to see from a new project anyway, right? And they have a boatload of money. And now I'm talking a shit ton of money. So I believe Rune is at some point going to be destined for big upside. It just needs to start opening up its ecosystem like AVAX did, like Solana did, right? Hopefully that happens soon. But yeah, this would be a underdog that, I would definitely be keeping an eye on. Okay. Not financial advice. I don't even own a position in Rune. So just letting y'all know though. Okay. FTM too. I mean, these assets, they've had really great upside movements. And part of that has to do with the fact that they had their big incentive programs to keep building on their ecosystem. FTM had a $350 million incentive program. AVAX had a $180 million incentive program. I'm pretty sure when Rune gets going, they're going to announce something big like 500 million or, billion or some shit like that. So I'm excited. We'll see how Rune goes. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. This was kind of interesting. If y'all remember several weeks ago, maybe even months ago, there was a big buyer in the call option space. right? I posted this a while back, similar screenshot. I told y'all that there was a big buyer who was picking up calls basically on a Thursday and Friday several months ago. Well, this time around, this buyer was actually selling and closing out on the call options. Okay. So it was kind of like, what this person said, a reverse Friday ape, right? So who knows, maybe as we go into today, that kind of places some form of impact on the price action. Typically, when you're closing out calls, you're already in profit, unless you're about to put on hedges or something, maybe that might impact the price negatively on the other side. But I don't really think that it's going to make a whole lot of impact, to be honest, in terms of, these call option closures. Okay. Aside from that, let's take a look at a couple other assets that I've paid attention to for a while. Right, Wild is one. Okay, if ChartX Pro loads, that would be good. Okay, it's not loading, so I'm gonna just pull it up here real quick. All right, this Wilder World, Wild. I've paid attention to this for a little while. I mean, I basically mentioned Wild somewhere around like the 110s, 125, 130s, that area. So I'm back to break even, but point is I have a small position in Wild. I just wanted to take a chance on these gaming metaverse assets. If it doesn't do well, it is what it is, but you got to take a chance on projects that are working hard, that continue to build, that continue to show progress. And I'm pretty happy with my position in Wild. Okay. Other than that, let me see. Joe token, I already told you all about Joe, right? I've been farming, staking, pooling in Joe for a while. Those have been going well. I mean, I'm pretty sure I got into Joe like when it was maybe, was it 15, 20 cents, something like that. So I've recouped a bunch of my money already. This is one of the benefits that you have of being an Advantage member. I find all these opportunities for you, for y'all, and I post them, in our respective channels. I've done this video on AVAX, and AVAX is the ecosystem that has, Benki, Pangolin, Joe tokens. So I picked up all these, and I told y'all about how I've started to farm them and stake them, and put them into liquidity pools. So hopefully some of y'all got to try that out. I made some really, really good money on it. Hopefully you guys got to try it out and make some decent money too. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I've pretty much left those pools alone because I took out my initial capital, and now I'm still up maybe like 5 or 7x on my entire capital that I put in. So those have been doing tremendously well. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Anything from the chat? So today I expect to be a relatively calm day. I think most of the blood is already spilled, right, in the altcoin world. I guess now could be the time where you want to pick up, I don't know, some positions if you want to in spot, not investment advice, but if you're thinking about good assets, like here's one, remember I told you all about sushi. I mean, when it was damn near 12.25 and it shot up to 16, a bunch of you guys messaged me and told me that you took profit on it, right? Here's some of the gains reviews that we've seen over the past, several days that you guys have done some tremendous work on the trades and the analysis that I pointed out. Some people got into sushi, some people got into AVAX. I even mentioned this, $2,000 free airdrop. I'm glad you got a free $2,000, right? So I'm glad a lot of y'all are doing well and doing your due diligence when I point out these opportunities in the market. But just remember that whenever you do get big pops in the market, don't just think that the market has to just keep on going up. Okay, here's a perfect example of sushi. I told y'all that my big target in this area, when I mentioned sushi, it was DeFi analysis. Here's where I mentioned sushi, right? Timestamp and everything. Okay, sushi was trading at 12.25. Okay, I mentioned, TP would be 14 to 15. Okay. Well, guess what? It overshot and it went damn near $16. So that means that if you get an overshot like that, you should be happy if you kept on that position, but learn how to take profit. Don't get greedy in a market like this. All right. Taking profit, and I've told y'all before numerous times, my best strategy and my most notable strategy that really works all the time with the least amount of stress and a good amount of money is whenever I take these levered trades, okay, when I've achieved my target profit, I do one of two things. I cut the entire trade and I take those profits from the levered position and I roll them into spot sushi or spot link, spot BTC, ETH, whatever spot position that you're into, right? FTX allows you to do that. Or you cut half the position, take your profit at the desired levels, and then you let the rest of the position ride, okay? Wherever it goes, whether it comes back to your original point where you got in, whether it stops you out, right? However you want to go with that. That's really the best ways, in my opinion, to sort of maximize, upside, just in case you think, hey, well, I think sushi's going to go to 20, 25, 30. Okay. A lot of people have these questions, and I just want to let y'all know there are strategies like that out there. If you want to talk to me about it, feel free to DM me. I'm always here to talk to you, or whatever questions you have. Cool. All right, folks, that's all I got. Okay, I hope you found this analysis thorough and informative. I will keep y'all updated through the day. Again, I don't expect Friday to be too volatile. I think a majority of the sell pressure has already taken place today. As we head into the weekend, I don't know, maybe some rocky volatility, but I don't expect, honestly, too much selling in the market. But I'll keep y'all updated, okay? If there is. Cheers, everybody. Have a great Friday.